To the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned on this Columbus Day. They call it, what do they call it? Indigenous Peoples Day. I have to tell you something. I look very good in this, right?
You actually do.
I think I should wear this all the time. Look at it. Indigenous Peoples Day. I am your favorite president and your favorite tribal chief. Chief Golden Eagle, right? You look at it. I'm Chief Golden Eagle. Happy Columbus. I'm not wearing this the whole show. I will not be wearing this the whole show, but I had to start off like this. I've been teasing, for those of you who are subscribed to me on X, you saw the sneak peek last week. But I will, I've been teasing this for the last couple of weeks. And went on Kale & Company this morning. A lot of fun. You've got a message from your favorite president out on the internet floating around right now, doing very well. Now, I will say, it's one thing if the president reposts my video of me in a sombrero. It's another if he does this. I'm not shooting for it. There are way more important things, by the way, that are happening today than the Indian headdress. The hostages are home, so we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that. But it is Columbus Day, and for the last, I'll just give you a little bit of inside baseball. For the last 3 years on Columbus Day, I have said on Columbus Day, man, I need an Indian headdress to make fun of the whole Indigenous Peoples Day. And by the way, nothing against anybody if you are, and I know that if there are based people on our side who are, part Native American, I don't think they'd be taking offense to something like that, because I'm doing it as a joke to mock the left who actually hates Indigenous people. But I've always wanted one of these because you had the Pocahontas thing and all that. So and this year I remembered in time, and so we have our Indigenous Peoples Day headdress today, and we have a message from your favorite president here on Indigenous Peoples Day. Take a look. This is your favorite president, or as they call me, Chief Golden Eagle, and I wanted to wish you a very happy Columbus Day. I knew Christopher Columbus very well. He was a great friend of mine. I called him Chris, and he did a tremendous job. But the radical left-wing crazy Democrats want to call it Indigenous Peoples Day, and I get along very well with the Indigenous people. They love me. They call me Chief Golden Eagle. They say, Chief, what are we going to do about these crazy radical left-wing Democrats like Lion Liz Warren? I call her Pocahontas. Chief Spitting Bull. She's a horrible person and a loser, and the only woman who has ever failed a DNA test. Nobody ever thought that was possible, but she failed a DNA test. What a disgrace. Jiggly Belly Pritzker. I call him Chief Eats Too Much. Chief Broken Scale. Every scale he steps on says, ouch, you're hurting me. Please get off. He's a huge guy. He keeps stuffing his face. He's a huge guy and a stupid guy. And Peso Store Obama. Right? You look at him in his sombrero. El Hakimo, Chief Tiny Teepee. He has a very small teepee. I have a huge teepee. Everybody knows about it. He has a tiny teepee. You know what I'm talking about. And he ought to be ashamed of himself. And he is ashamed of himself. Chief Tiny Teepee El Hakimo. But we are sending out an executive order via smoke signal commemorating today as Columbus Day. We're making it Columbus Day again, celebrating my tremendous friend, Christopher Columbus, and all of his incredible achievements. So happy Columbus Day. God bless you. God bless America. And thank you for your attention to this matter. All right, here you go. Chief Golden Eagle. It is time to remove this because I'll tell you what, it's very tight. I think they make these for children. So this is squeezing the daylights. But this is it. You will see the flow this morning. This is the infamous
flow is awfully slick.
This is the infamous new prop. We got to pick that up before we go today because the cats will destroy the feathers and eat them and all that. But happy Columbus Day. It is Columbus Day. Sean needs to wear it on Thanksgiving week, the live chat is saying. That's Heather Osborne. Good win for your Chiefs yesterday. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed, by the way, if you're sports fans, the Rumble Rundown over the weekend. It was a ton of fun, and I can't wait for next week already. for that on Saturdays at 9 o'clock Eastern, 9 to 11. Happy Columbus Day to all of you, especially everybody's Italian on Columbus Day, right? We love that. Everybody's Italian. Wenda 1968 says, laughing out loud at work. Perfect. That's exactly what you need to be doing at work. You should be laughing out loud. Very good. Let your bosses know that that some maniac that you listen to, the podcast on the internet has a Columbus Day. All right, there you go. So here we go. Jeremy also says it was great to do a sports show. It really was.
That was amazing.
It really was, and I can't wait to do it again. It's fun. Sports are fun. And then I spent, all Saturday and all Sunday watching sports, and Jeremy and I were texting back and forth, and we were like, oh my gosh, we're back into sports. This feels great. It is. It does feel good. Look, Monday through Friday, we talk about the serious issues that are going to impact us every day. But it is okay. I say it is okay to watch sports, to enjoy sports. Sports are meant to be fun. It is not meant to be serious. It is not meant to be a whole, song and dance about all of these. There's people. I saw people on online on X. All sports are rigged. I said, "Where's your evidence?" They go, "Well, come on." I said, "Where's your evidence?" They said, "Well, you can't tell." I said, "Okay, goodbye." Okay, don't ruin a good thing. Like William Byron Spotter ruined his NASCAR race yesterday. A bad crash with 35 laps to go. That might cost him a chance at the Final Four. Anyway, the hostages are home, folks. Mark's Madness says, except the JETS. That's not fun. What a joke of a team, by the way. And Garrett Wilson, $32.5 million to drop the ball. I will play for the Jets for half of that.
I could do that.
Okay? I mean, I'll drop a ball for $35.5 million. Anyway, the hostages have been released. That is the big story of the day. As much as it is fun as it is to poke fun at the left and Indigenous Peoples Day and Columbus Day and that whole debate, the hostages have finally been released. The October 7th hostages. And by the way, all 20 of the remaining living hostages have been released. I think I read a story. I didn't confirm it, but last night, or a couple of days ago, apparently Hamas lost the bodies of the other hostages that had been killed.
How does one do that?
Because
Oops.
I bet you the bodies were not in good shape.
Probably decomposed.
All 20 of the remaining hostages, by the way, are men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they raped and killed the rest of the women.
Horrible.
Say what you want. And everybody can say what they want about the Israeli government. You may not like how much money we send to Israel. You may not like our relationship with Israel or the dynamics of that relationship. But I will think less of you. I will think less of you if, and again, difference of opinion, whatever. But I will think less of you if you pull Hamas has a point. Or you try to tell me that they're actually the good guys. They're just resistance fighters. If you're resisting something, you don't rape the women and kill the women of the country that you're resisting. Okay? Hamas released the 20. It's been a long time and a lot of back and forth, and we're going to release them, and then they don't. We're going to release them, and then they don't. We're going to release them, and then they don't. President Trump and this administration deserve a ton of credit, and they're actually getting a ton of credit this morning from people who generally, don't give him credit. But Hamas kept the 20 hostages alive that were alive because, and they were males because they raped and killed the women. It's disgusting. And, they're going to survive this. Hamas will, unfortunately. But we'll focus on the good. We will focus on the good. The 20 living hostages have been released by Hamas, something that we've been flirting with for a very long time, and now that has finally happened. So congratulations to all involved in getting this done. It is a good thing. It is a net positive in that those remaining hostages have been released. We will get to those stories. We've got a crazy story out of New York. We've got an update on the race in Virginia. An update out of the Department of Education, which is right up my alley. Very excited about that. An update on John Bolton. Is he going to be indicted soon? And an update on Donald Trump's health. Remember when the left Violets are blue and roses are red. And the left is throwing fits because I am not dead. Remember that? Remember on Labor Day weekend where they thought he was dead? I've got an update on his health from Ronnie Jackson, his longtime physician. So we have a ton of that. I've got clips from the weekend. J.D. Vance. We've got Marjorie Taylor Greene being an a-hole. Speaking of a-holes, we have the nude protesters out in Portland. Portland's got a problem. So we've got so much video, and it's kind of all over the place a little bit today, but the main thing is the hostages. We're having fun with Columbus Day, and we're going to talk about illegals for a minute. There's a lot of these different clips that I compiled that have to do or have to do with the topic of illegal immigration and mass deportations. Before we do all of that, I want to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. And by the way, if you're watching on X, if you're watching over on YouTube, if you're watching on any other places, any other platforms where we're on right now, head over to Rumble, rumble.com/LFA TV. That is our home base. That is the Cool Kids table. That is where I throw the live chat on the screen. So if you want your comments to have a chance of being featured in a live chat, we jump back and forth between there. Rumble.com/LFA TV. Hit the thumbs up button and let's go. Now, if you want to watch on those other platforms, cool. We appreciate it. No matter where you are, share. Tell all your friends about LFA TV, Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. That's how you search for it online. Rumble.com/LFA TV, though, is our home base. OFP Farms, exploring the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase at OFPfarms.com. America's go-to soap company, famous for natural ingredients, the skin-loving perks of tallow and goat milk, and a big heart for farm-to-family skincare. Get your hands on some of this amazing soap, like the Outlaw soap. Somebody even made a comment and said, your hair, it looks very nice. You must use OFP Farms.
Who said that?
Somebody in the chat. My hair is very nice. I'm getting it cut a little bit today. It's getting a little too long. I'm blind when I come out of the shower. But this is the Outlaw soap. I smelled it. You know what it smells like? It smells like the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I built them with my own two hands. This is the Outlaw soap. Get your hands on some of their stuff. OFPfarms.com. Use the promo code Sean, SHAWN, for 15% off. Look, whether you're looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, their products will bring together expert care and good values to make your daily routine all that much better. Do not miss this chance to enjoy premium products that support your health and ethical choices for your entire family. It's OFP Farms, Oscar Foxtrot Papa Farms.com. Use the promo code Sean, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November, OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean for 15%, that's 15% off of everything on the website. OFPfarms.com, promo code Sean, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Check them out. Go support our friends over at OFP Farms. Okay, let's start off with the hostages. This happened early this morning. I knew a lot of people who were actually staying up to see if this was going to happen. I'm very happy that it did happen. All 20 remaining living hostages, again, 100% of them are males, have been released by Hamas, something that we were again flirting with for a long time, but it has finally happened. Take a look at this. Is from Fox News announcing it this morning.
11:34 in the morning on this Monday in Israel. It is a historic day, and you are watching history unfold. This is the Knesset in Jerusalem, the Israeli parliament building. President Trump has been invited to speak to the Knesset. He has been obviously very involved in the peace negotiations that have resulted in what you see on the banner at the bottom of your screen there. All 20 living hostages now confirmed to have been released by Hamas. Israel is releasing nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners in return, and there are the bodies of 28 hostages who died while in horrific conditions in Hamas captivity. Those bodies are going to be returned in the coming days, perhaps weeks, because it is not known where all of them are.
Not knowing where all the bodies are. It's typical Hamas. But an update on the hostages. This is from the Post-Millennial. 20 remaining living Israeli hostages in Gaza were released by Hamas into the custody of the International Committee of the Red Cross on Monday, marking a dramatic milestone in the U.S. brokered ceasefire agreement between Israel and the terror group. The first 7 hostages were released as President Trump landed in Air Force One at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel and went to speak at the Knesset. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt shared a photo from aboard Air Force One showing Trump's team watching live footage of the Gaza hostage release en route to Israel. Here are the names of the 20 hostages and this nice mosaic, this nice photo of these 20 living hostages: Elkanah Bobat, Meitan Engrest, Avinatan Or, Yosef Haim Ohana, Alan Ohel, Iviatar, David, Guy Gilboa Dalal, Ram Brasilovsky, Gali Berman, Ziv Berman. Those were the twins, I believe. There were 2 twins that were in there. I think it's the Berman twins. Aitan Moore, Segev Kalfan, Nimrod Cohen, Maxime Herkin, Aitan Horn, Matan Zangauker, Bar Cooperstein, David Cuneo, Ariel Cuneo, and Omri Miran. And I apologize if I got any of those names wrong, but we're happy to know that those hostages have been released and they are home. This is a remarkable development in the Middle East. And obviously, there were a lot of moving parts, okay? There were a lot of moving parts in this entire Middle East peace deal. And the fact that we're even at this point, so the ceasefire is in effect, Israel is withdrawing to an agreed-upon withdrawal line. The 20 living hostages have been released. They are back back in Israel. The fact that we're even here is significant. It's amazing, okay, that we're even here. Now, we do not know all of the moving parts that went into this peace deal. But I remember when Donald Trump took that huge tour in the Middle East, and he went to Saudi Arabia, and he went to Qatar, and he went to all these places, that I was saying and speculating that maybe all of those visits and all of those deals that were worked out with all of those Arab countries, maybe that would be the precursor to a peace deal. If you remember the Abraham Accords, Jared Kushner played a huge role in that in Trump's first term, and apparently he played a big role in that, in this term as well. Say what you want about him, say what you want about Ivanka. This is a net positive, right? Is anything going to be perfect? No. But a lot of this centered around economics and trade and prosperity and finances, basically saying everybody's going to eat if everybody gets along, okay? Now, over the course of the week, last week, I think it was on Friday, there was this news that broke about Qatar and an Air Force base in Idaho, and a lot of people were very upset about it. And I don't blame you for being upset about it. The way it was categorized and characterized, characterized. I was like kind of scratching my head, but you know what? Where's the Bongino army? Hold, right? Now, our good friend Chad Caton, Sweet Chad, who was doing security for Nick Sorter up in Portland. He's now on the way to Chicago to do that as well. Chad Caton kind of explained the whole relationship between the United States and Qatar, okay? Now, whether you like Qatar or not, whether you trust the Arab countries or not, whether you think we should be selling their military equipment or not, the fact of the matter is, right now, as it stands, we are. I'm going to tell you, Chad is very blunt, okay? He's ex-military, but he's a great guy, and he's going to give it to you straight. It's one of the things I love about Chad is that he'll give it to you straight, okay? He's at I'm Fired Up 2, I think, over on X, and I can double-check that. Let me actually double-check that because you guys should follow him. I'm Fired Up. Let me see. I'm Fired Up 2. Yes, I am FIREDUP, the number 2. You should all follow Chad Caton. He's a great guy, and is a patriot. He's out there in the trenches. He's going to Chicago now.
Sweet Chad.
We love Sweet Chad. But I want you to listen to this. This is Chad. He's going to give it to you straight about the relationship between the United States and Qatar. Look, I don't trust them either, but it's important to understand from a guy who's in the military, still very active with the vets, and he knows the way these games are played. It's important to listen to this explanation. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm just asking you to understand the dynamic here. So here's Chad. He's a little blunt. Don't take any offense to it. I don't think he's foul in this video, but he's very direct. This is what I love about him. He'll just give it to you straight.
He's great.
So watch this. This is the explainer about the whole Qatar stuff.
Hey, America, it's your boy Chad. There's a whole bunch of people losing their ever-loving mind right now because a Qatari base is going to be here in the United States. Well, let me break it down for you. This isn't new. We've been doing this for a long time with our allies. When we sell our equipment, like let's say an F-18. Well, you don't just send over a user's guide and try to figure it out. We bring these guys over, we sell them the equipment, and then we train them and we train their trainers so that they can utilize that equipment in everything they do in their country because we sold the equipment to them as an ally. This has been going on for a very long time, and this isn't new. I don't know why everybody's losing their ever-loving mind about this. Maybe the way it was put out as to say a Qatari base is going to be put in the United States, when in fact, actuality, it is going to be a part of a base where they are going to be training on this equipment on a U.S. military installation. Let's say they're frenemies. Let's say we're worried about them. Okay, well, now we have a whole bunch of people that are going to be talking back and forth to Qatar that we can listen into way easier on a military installation or anything else. All of those things considered, this is geopolitics at its finest, and the United States has always tried to sell our equipment and make sure those people are prevalent in that equipment in order to utilize the equipment as our ally. For those of you who don't know, Qatar has a huge American base on it, where there is a big supply and where a lot of our Middle East operations would be supplied out of. However you feel about Muslims or however you feel about Middle Eastern countries, that's fine. But our country has an ally in Qatar, and we are utilizing that, and we are selling them American equipment for their own defense, and we're teaching them how to use it. Settle down. Stop going after Trump. Stop going and yelling that this isn't what I voted for. Learn the game, play it better, and then you can kick their ass. But half of you aren't paying attention or trying to learn the game. Try harder. Stay salty out there.
I love Chad Caden. I had to see the minute and 40 some odd seconds sums it right up. Again, I don't love the fact that we, for instance, sell the Saudis weapons. I don't love the fact that we think that these Muslim countries could potentially be allies. But at the same point, I'd rather treat them as allies and keep that going for as long as possible than just immediately default to that they're our enemies, right? It's important to have a good working relationship with a lot of the nations out there. And yes, the way that the story came out on Friday, like, Qatari base in the United States, sounded bad. But it's always important when the things sound bad to just wait, get the full story first. And I think Chad did a great job. So that is the long and short. And by the way, go ahead, follow him, Chad Caden. I'm fired up too on X.
Mr. Incredible.
Give him a fan. He does look like Mr. Incredible. And he is pretty incredible. He's a great guy. I love him. He's a lot of fun. He's a great guy. And by the way, he's one of those people that you want on your side. Okay? You do not want that guy. You don't want to be going up against that guy. I'll tell you what. But he's awesome. So that's the explainer on the Qatar thing, and I trust Chad. He's a credible person. That is the explainer on Qatar. And now, does this also have something to do with the peace deal? I don't know. We don't know. We don't know the inner workings of it. I don't, now that it's been explained, have that much of a problem with the whole Qatar base. I don't think Trump is going to be selling anybody out. It makes sense, this dynamic. And it's, again, as Chad said, it's not new. Whether or not you agree with the practice is irrelevant. It's not new. It's not something that Trump just did, right, in some sort of, way to sell out the United States like it was being categorized by some people. All right. Let's move on. There's not really much to talk about in terms of the hostages other than they've been released. It is a big story. It's a great day for that reason. And we hope that the next steps that are coming will continue to move the region closer and closer to peace. One thing I can say for certain, there is not a chance. There is not a chance that this would be happening had it not been for the tireless work of Donald Trump and, by the way, this entire administration. So a remarkable achievement. And, whether or not they want to give him a peace prize or not, he got the hostages home. What's up?
Someone said, what was Chad's last name? Caton.
Caton. C-A-T-O-N.
Okay, I was going to say, I don't know how to spell it.
C-A-T-O-N. We love Chad. He's really on his P's and Q's. He's got it. Okay. Before we get into the illegals and all of this, because I want to give that more time, and we're about 3 minutes away from a break. I want to talk. I'm going to play for you this clip from J.D. Vance. He was on with George Slopadopoulos, right? Snuffleupagus, who is obviously a hack. He's not a journalist. So watch this as J.D. Vance dismantles Slopadopoulos' position here, the way J.D. Vance does it, right? And this is why I really do, and I really do like J.D. Vance. I'm really optimistic about, his presumed what's going to happen in 28, his run for the presidency. As much as I love Trump, and he's entertaining, his abrasive kind of, blunt force truth personality is not for everybody. Right? It's not for everybody. It's for me. I love it. I get it. I'm a New Yorker. I talk like that. I understand how Queens works. A lot of people in the country love it because he talks like we talk, right? He just kind of says what's on his mind. He doesn't pull any punches. J.D. Vance says what's on his mind, doesn't pull any punches, but he does it in a more, can I say, tactful way, right? Where he's saying incendiary things without being incendiary. So here's J.D. Vance. I mean, remember, he basically got Tim Walz to admit he was a knucklehead on stage during the debate. I'm a knucklehead. That's all I can say, right? I mean, Vance is so good at this, and I'm really looking forward to his back and forths on the media, over the course of not just the next 3.5 years, but hopefully, given he wins the 2028 election, his term as president of the United States as well, or 2 terms, hopefully. But here's J.D. Vance with George Slopadopoulos on ABC. They actually cut this interview because J.D. Vance was being too effective. Watch.
I don't know what tape you're referring to, George. I saw media reports that Tom Homan accepted a bribe. There's no evidence of that. And here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility, because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next.
What a jerk. You do not hang up on JD. You don't do that. Stupid ABC. They haven't learned their lessons, obviously. They have not learned their lessons. It's unfortunate. But there was J.D. Vance and George Slopadopoulos. So I wanted to play that clip for you so you could see that the mainstream media is still doing mainstream media things. Not that anybody here would believe that they're not doing mainstream media things, but they are still doing mainstream media things. All right, on the other side of this break, we got to get to a word from 2 of our sponsors. We've got a lot about the border, a lot about illegals, okay? Including this bizarre story out of New York State. If you've been listening to the great Andrew Wilkow, he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite guy in conservative radio right now. And he has been one of my favorites for years. I've been listening to him since 2019. I love his show. I think he does a great job breaking down a lot of pretty complex issues in a very common sense way so that, essentially a 3-year-old can understand it. If you've been listening to Wilkow, you've heard about this story out of New York. But before we get to that story out of New York, I want to get to a word from our friends over at, that is Silent, SLNT.com/Sean, Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. It is time for you to take back your privacy over at Silent, SLNT.com/Sean. Let's face it, your phone is a tracking device between government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, and cyber criminals. As the great Jackie Dutton says, scammers are the crackheads of the internet. They are fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they're not asking. They just go ahead and take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals, including cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal signal. What does that mean, folks? It means no tracking, no remote access, and no breadcrumbs. It is the same technology that is trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now, it is available to you to protect your family, protect your freedom, and protect your digital footprint. Drop your phone in a silent Faraday sleeve, and it's off the grid, completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From their backpacks to their sleeves to their crossbody, Silence patented technology gives you control of your privacy. Visit slnt.com/Sean to get 15% off and free shipping on qualifying orders. That is silent, slnt.com/Sean. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Go silent today, slnt.com. Silence the chaos. Go silent today, slnt.com/Sierra Hotel Alpha Whiskey November. Speaking of Faraday gear, I don't know how many of you guys and gals follow Misfit Patriot on Instagram.
Oh, I do.
But actually, you were the one who told me about him.
Was I?
Yeah, you were like, watch this guy. He's funny. This is the way he gets in front of the camera and just
yeah.
goes off.
You're
and
welcome.
I was like, so smug. And I was like, he is funny. And we've gotten to know each other pretty well over the last couple of years, actually. And I'll say this, too. One of the best things about Misfit is he is who you see on the internet. That's him.
What you see is what you get.
Take it or leave it, which is great because usually most people on the internet are fake as hell. And then you meet them in real life and you're like, oh, they're fake as hell. Mm-hmm. He's not fake as hell. Misfit online is Misfit offline. But he put up a really funny video on his Instagram a couple days ago, I think, about Candace Owens and the brick suit thing. Right. And he was just like, Candace Owens, someone's got to stick her in a Faraday bag, so just to keep her quiet. It was one of the funniest things I've seen. And by the way, his dog Gatsby just apparently loves sunbathing. He's just out there on his patio.
Me and Gatsby have that in common.
Out there,
I fell asleep in the sun yesterday. I got a little burnt.
But no, that was one of the. So I was just talking about Faraday. It jogged my memory of that whole thing. He also got something a long time ago, like this. He posted a picture of it, of something an Israeli or a Jewish person sent it to him, and it was a bring them home now thing. And he said today was the first day that he could look at that and smile because the remaining hostages have been released. So you'll find very few who are as staunchly pro-Israel and not pro-Israeli government, but pro-Israel, anti-Hamas as Misfit. He's great. But I just wanted to bring that up. Before we get to the story out of New York, which if you've been listening to Will Cow, you've heard about, I got to get to a word from our friends over at goldencrestmetals.com/LFA and the great Jeremy Harrell. Take a look.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees, no pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your your screen, and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
That's GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Give him a look. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Golden Crest, for being a part of the show. All right, let's get into this story from New York. Okay, New York. New Yorkers do not want to have to close down the schools.
My favorite thing that you say of him is, you don't have to take...
Yeah.
I can't say it like
you
that.
sounded like somebody in a 7-Eleven. She's like, I sound like Andrew Cuomo. Yes. You may not remove your mask, but you must remove all of your clothes, because he was handsy Andy. It's just, one of the most low-energy campaigns, by the way, in history. I mean, it's like he doesn't want to be the mayor of New York City. Let's get to this story out of New York. They are giving, obviously we know they're giving illegal aliens driver's licenses, right? But this one takes the cake, because when you get a driver's license, what is the point of the driver's license, right? What is the point? The point of the driver's license is to have a photo of the driver to show that that driver is licensed by the state to drive a motor vehicle. But let's think of this, Brian. Let's do this exercise together, okay?
Oh, gosh.
What is the most important part of the driver's license outside of the photo?
Your name.
Your name. Okay. If you're giving illegal aliens a driver's license, you should know their name, right? Like, the whole point of having the photo ID is it has your name and a picture of you to confirm that that is you. In New York, they're not doing that. The Department of Homeland Security revealed that New York City gave an Indian illegal alien a driver's license with the name No Name Given. And this is how do you look? Here it is.
At least
right
give
there.
him a
Look,
fake one.
there it is right there. His name is, it just says Anmol, No Name Given.
Now, he looks like he's Middle Eastern.
They said he's an Indian, so look at that, and look at the top, commercial driver license. Remember that story in Florida where that Indian commercial, that truck driver killed somebody on the road? No name given. How on earth do you do this? Okay, and this is not the only time it's happened. So I heard Will Cow. I heard Will Cow over the course of the last week talking about how he goes to his DMV. He just bought a new Corvette, his Everyman King mobile, and I heard him talking about how he went to the DMV and he was standing behind people in line, and he just goes, you hear these people, they don't speak English, go, okay, you have my info. You've got how tough was it at the DMV when we first moved to Tennessee? I had to give them everything. Birth certificate,
some of our
photo, blood. They almost took a finger to double. And you got in New York, you got no name given on the name. How does that work? How does that work? So this is where we are with these illegal aliens. Obviously, we know the whole thing is a bunch of sugar honey iced tea. They gave out a commercial driver's license to somebody. What happens if this guy gets pulled over? What is your name? No name given. What do you, thank you, come again. What are we doing? This does not make sense. It does make sense if you're a Democrat because, they're undocumented. So then they don't get a license. If you can't provide a name, you don't get a license. Done. It's that easy. It should be that easy, right? If you don't have documentation with you, they're undocumented immigrants. Okay, I know you don't like to call them illegal aliens. They're undocumented immigrants. All right, we get it. Thank you. And look at the date that this was issued. April 14th, 2025. So this was issued this year. Not that long ago. 6 months ago. When you go get your driver's license and register your vehicles and do all this, If you can't provide your name, you don't get the driver's license, period. But in New York, they're giving driver's licenses to illegal aliens and putting them under no name given. What happens if that guy gets pulled over? How do you track down no name given when he skips his court date? This is unbelievable. I just, how is this okay for anybody? The answer is it shouldn't be. But anyway, that's what they're doing in New York. And they're covering for it. And everybody's covering for these illegal aliens, right? Did you see Don Lemon? They played it on Kale and Company, so that's why I got the clip. Don Lemon on the streets of, I think it was Chicago, talking to people about illegal aliens and crossing the border illegally. And then saying it's not actually a crime. And he believes this crap. Look at this.
Okay, crossing the border illegally is not a crime?
No, it's not a criminal act. Okay. It's a misdemeanor.
So why are they being sent back and saying that they're breaking the law?
That's the point.
Okay, as somebody that actually...
We don't know if they're breaking the law because they won't tell. There's no due process. Where's the evidence? That's the whole point. And if they are breaking the law, most people will say, okay, then they need to go if they're criminals. But if they're not, why are they being rounded up and sent out, especially when he promised to deport the criminals, and now he's not doing that?
Yeah, I don't think we're going...
Misdemeanor is not a crime. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So misdemeanor is not a crime?
It's not a criminal act, no. If you get charged with a misdemeanor, that's not a criminal act.
So why get charged at all then, if it's not a criminal act?
Because we have different levels of crime. Everything is not the same.
So it is crime.
No,
it's just
we
different
have different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean,
What? Well, you're not breaking the law. Well, you are. Wait. Okay. I cut it off at the wrong time. Look at this.
We have different levels of. I shouldn't say crime, but it's not. It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
You're not breaking the law. Well, you are breaking the law, but it's not a crime when you break the law. You know what? I can't say what I want to say because it's really mean. How can somebody be that dumb?
I'm sure he knows it really is. They're brainwashing the masses. They're trying to change the way people think.
He says to her, well, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act. You know what? We're going to do a little more.
It's not a crime. You're not breaking the law. I mean, you are breaking the law, but it's not a criminal act.
So it's breaking the law.
No, you're not breaking the law.
He just said
no.
If you're speeding, drinking, get pulled over, DUI.
That's not a criminal act. Well, no, if you're speeding is a misdemeanor.
It's a misdemeanor. Right. So it's still breaking the law.
Okay, well, if you want to qualify that, we're doing semantics. But what I'm trying to tell you is everything is not the same. It's all not one thing.
But is it the law?
What is it? The law that what?
Is it a law to come over legally? Is there a law?
There are rules processes that you should follow. Yeah, so you're breaking rules. You're breaking the rules, but you're not necessarily breaking a law.
Oh my God, I can't. I don't want to be angry today. Are you kidding me? You know, here's the problem. If I got interviewed by Don Lemon, I would have backhanded it. What are you talking about? I would have been. Well, you said you're breaking the law, then you say you're not breaking the law. Then it's just the rules, not the law. It's not a criminal act. It's just a misdemeanor, which isn't a crime. That's not true. Okay, that's where we are now with these illegal aliens. And by the way, this is where things are going to get scary. Not scary, but this is where things are going to get rocky. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, early mohawk.
With Kevin McCarthy and, now Brian Glenn.
Bad Moon's not even here
Right.
to enjoy it.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right. Let's start with this. To the live chat. When you voted for Donald Trump in 2024 and you were promised mass deportations, did you want exceptions or no exceptions, right? Mass deportations. Are you in favor of exceptions or are you in favor of no exceptions? Okay, for the most part, right? When you voted for Donald Trump in 2024, exceptions or no exceptions when it comes to mass deportations? What do you say? What do you say? When you voted for Trump in 2024, did you vote for exceptions or no exceptions when it comes to mass deportations? Look at the live chat. No exceptions. No exceptions. No exceptions. It is unanimous. No exceptions. Look at that. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has completely turned on not just Trump, but MAGA as a whole, right? Standing in front of a sign that said Trump is a pedophile at that Epstein press conference. By the way, whatever happened to that list that they were supposed to compile and release? Oh, that never happened. Publicity stunt. We told you. Whether it's calling for the end of the filibuster, like a Democrat's, like their biggest wish and dream. And now it's illegal aliens. Well, we can't deport them all.
As a conservative and as a business owner in the construction industry and as a realist, I can say we have to do something about labor, and that needs to be a smarter plan than just rounding up every single person and deporting them just like that.
Right.
So, and I'm going to get pushback on that, but it's
Yeah.
I'm just living in reality from here on out.
Yeah.
And if anybody's mad at me for saying the truth, then I'm sorry.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, ladies and gentlemen, our next president. Sorry, JD Vance.
Oh, no. She will not be our next president. I hope she loses her seat. You're living in reality that we can't deport all the illegal aliens? By the way, she's from Georgia. That's where Laken Riley was murdered. Are you kidding me? No, Marjorie. No, if you cross the border illegally, she's like Don Lemon. Well, but if they're working in the labor field, they could stay. Absolutely not. No exceptions. This woman is a turncoat. There have always been signs. And by the way, spare me the, AIPAC is paying you $7,000 to trash MTG. It has nothing to do with her stance, which is ridiculous, on Israel anyway. Has everything to do with the fact that she claims to be America first, but wants to import third world labor. Think of it where she said she came from. Oh, I ran a construction business. Oh, so you hired illegals? Okay, thanks for admitting everything, Marjorie Taylor Greene. You sellout traitor. Primary her. Whatever district, get her out. Get her out. What a disgrace. What a disgrace she is. Unbelievable. Yeah, as Laura Lynn, 74, said, she was the one who screamed Laken Riley at the Biden State of the Union. Now she's like, well, if you're in labor, if you're in the labor industry, we'll keep you around. We can't just deport everybody. Oh, okay. And she's talking about it from personal experience, like, I ran a construction company. So what you're saying is you use a lot of illegal labor. That's what you're saying. Very nice. Here's Mike Johnson, by the way. Again, you could love him, you could hate him, but what he's saying here about nuking the filibuster is valid. Before we get to Johnson, I want to get to a word from our friends over at tryarmra.com/LFA TV. It's TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV. Armra colostrum. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. That is what Armra Colostrum can do for you and more. It's the first nutrition that we receive in life and contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. Colostrum can help reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. It can also help fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and it can help fuel your fitness, performance, and recovery. You can harness the close-guarded secret of elite athletes' long prize for its unrivaled ability to take performance to its apex. We've worked out an amazing deal for you with our friends over at Armra Colostrum, tryarmra.com/LFA TV. If you go to tryarmra.com/LFA TV, you can get 15% off of your first order. That is tryarmra.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. Tryarmra.com/LFA. Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor. All right, here's another clip from Mike Johnson. Again, you could love him, you can hate him. I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, but what he's saying here is valid. You cannot nuke the filibuster. No, Marjorie, you cannot nuke the filibuster.
To allege that the Republican-controlled Senate can change the rules to push through the shutdown impasse. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is also now saying the same. Is there any validity to this, and what sort of precedent would that set for a future Democrat-controlled Senate?
Well, I'd lead the House, but the Senate has its own rules. Some of them are arcane, and when you're in the minority, you don't like it a lot. The filibuster is a tradition over there that's been maintained by both parties whenever they've been in the majority for a long, long time, and they can make a very compelling case as to why that's true. Now, could you go nuclear and blow that all up and end the filibuster once and for all and allow everything for only majority party vote, 51 votes in the Senate? I mean, is it possible? Yes. Is it wise? You can have a lot of people who would tell you it's not. I mean, on the Republican side, I would be deeply concerned if the Democrats had a bare majority in the Senate right now. A Marxist ideology taking over the Democrat Party? Do I want them to have no safeguards and no stumbling blocks or hurdles at all in the way of turning us into a communist country? I don't think that's a great idea. That's me. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, as they always say. And there are some safeguards in the process that were built in a long, long time ago to prevent one party just running roughshod. Now, there's a big...
We do not want to nuke the filibuster, and Mike Johnson lays out exactly why. Again, you could love him, you can hate him, but what he said was the clear, honest, and obvious truth as to why you do not want to nuke the filibuster. All right. Also on this illegal aliens thing, you have all these anti-ICE protests. I'm going to spare you the naked, but instead I'm going to show you there's a little bit of there's a little crack in this one.
Oh.
That media, what is her name? Brockman. They played that on 1210 this morning, and it's been floating around. This media employee, I think she was a reporter, got arrested outside of the ICE facility, and just look at the fear in her eyes. Look at this. Yeah, a little butt crack there, too. Crack kills. Phil. Hey, Phil. Fill that crack. Seymour. Seymour. Beep.
Sir, what's your name?
That's not a sir.
Brockman, I work for WGN. Let them know.
I got you. Yep. Debbie Browning?
Wait. I got to go back. Sir. Because that looks like, wait. That looks like a dude from back here, right? That she's got the full, wait, ready? If you were to say, is that a male or a female? I'd say that's a guy. She's got the plumber's crack going on, but here you go.
Sir, what's your name? What's your name?
Debbie Brockman, I work for WGN. Let them know.
I got you. Yep. Debbie Browning?
Brockman,
WGN.
Yeah, all right. That's a lesson in FAFO. She effed around, and she found out. And she was called a dude, which is even funnier. All right, I'm going to give you an update here on Virginia. This is a good thing. Now, again, this came from Trafalgar. You understand that you understand that we've said this a million times about polling. It's imperfect. Every poll has a bias. Trafalgar tends to skew to the right. But the Attorney General's race in Virginia looks to be slipping away from Jay Jones, which is a very good thing. Okay, a very good thing. But the gubernatorial race appears to be approaching statistical tie territory. Spanberger and Winsome Sears are within each other, within that margin of error. Now, Trafalgar was the pollster that nailed Virginia in 2021. So they have a good feel for that state. They tend to skew to the right. Okay, like for example, in 2022, in the New York gubernatorial race, Kathy Hochul and Lee Zeldin, Trafalgar had a dead heat. Zeldin wound up losing that race by about 6 points. The point that I'm trying to make here is Trafalgar tends to skew to the right. Other polls tend to skew to the left. It is tightening. There is no doubt about the fact that it is tightening if you live in Virginia. Everybody participates. Nobody stays home. I know Winsome Sears has said some things about Donald Trump in the past that we may not be happy with. But the fact of the matter is it's either her or it's Abigail Spanberger. Abigail Spanberger is a disaster. She has not rolled back her endorsement of Jay Jones. This is a guy, Jay Jones, who fantasized about his political opponents being shot and killed and their children being killed as well. You cannot allow Democrats to control Virginia at that state, in the state offices, governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. The good news, even if Spanberger does win, these are all separate races, and it looks like Jay Jones really shot himself in the foot, for lack of a better term, with regards to the AG's race, which is extremely, extremely important. Okay, finally, I want to get to you this story, this quick one about Donald Trump's health, because then we got to go. Jeremy Harrell will be up next with LFA TV, live from America for the next 2 hours. That has been rolled back from a 3-hour show, so our boy gets a little break, right? I mean, 3 hours in a row streaming is tough.
Gosh.
3 hours of radio is tough. 4 hours of radio is tough, but at least you get breaks. 3 straight hours of streaming, I honestly don't know how he did it. And that's after a 1 hour break, but 2 hours of Rise Up every morning.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Just an absolute machine.
Trooper.
So make sure you share this. Don't even share it for us. Share it for him. He's putting in so much time. Democrats, let me tell you something. Remember, violets are blue and roses are red, and the left is throwing fits because I am not dead? We're not dead. We're alive, right? We're alive. Eddie Vedder, I'm still alive. We did a very good job with him. Americans are worried about the health of presidents, right? You had Donald Trump, obviously, those stupid rumors. You had Joe Biden, et cetera, et cetera. For a man of the age of 79, apparently Donald Trump has like the cardiac age of a 65-year-old. So that is, there it is. Trump continues to demonstrate excellent overall health. His cardiac age, a validated measure of cardiovascular vitality via ECG, was found to be approximately 14 years younger than his chronological age. He continues to maintain a demanding daily schedule without restriction. So 79 years old, but a cardiac age of 65. He's here to stay. And he's getting things done, not just delivering for us. He is delivering for us. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. Grocery prices, et cetera, that's all got to get under control. It's going to take a little bit of time to undo what Biden and the left did, but he's also delivering for the rest of the world. Now, he works for us first and foremost, and I want to be, I want to put America first. But bringing peace in the Middle East and all of that's going to help energy prices. It's just going to help overall stability, which does impact us. He is doing a phenomenal job. And look, I guess that's what not drinking does, right? Donald Trump doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. He drinks a lot of Diet Coke and he eats a lot of McDonald's. But his cardiovascular age is 14 years younger than his chronological age. And I'll tell you right now, you could point directly to his lack of consumption of alcohol. All right, Jeremy Harrell is up next with Live from America for the next 2 hours right here on LFA TV. Before Jeremy comes on, head over to the LFA TV website, lfatv.us. Click on that LFA TV store tab, scroll down over to the right-hand side and hit Visit the Store. You will see everything that there is to offer here at the LFA TV store, lfatv.us or jeremyharrell.com/store. All sorts of really good stuff. You've got mugs, you've got shirts, you've got flannels, you've got tote bags, you've got ball caps, everything you could imagine. Great gift ideas. We're rolling into the holiday season in about a month. So head over to lfatv.us and get in while the getting is good. Jeremy Harrell is up next. Happy Columbus Day from Chief Golden Eagle. We're happy you appreciated that. We're happy you liked it. I liked it a lot too, and I'm happy to see that you liked it. Happy Columbus Day. Congratulations to all of the hostages for finally being free of Hamas. And we'll give it to Jeremy Harrell. As our favorite president says, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We're going to bang that freedom gavel. As John Fetterman says, bang gavel. Good night, everybody. And thank you for your attention to this matter. We'll see you tomorrow.